go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I am your host, Jack Sperry. That is our producer, Jeffrey Cooperstein. And today, we've got a bunch of great Steelers content to get to your way here. We're going to be live for about an hour today, kind of a sharp live show today, Coop. We've got two segments to get to today, and we got a lot of stuff to cover. I think we got a lot of really good Steelers information for you guys to cover in these two segments today. And essentially the theme of today is Overreaction Monday. So first up here, I'm going to be breaking down some of the latest news and rumors surrounding the Steelers, the latest on Davante Adams, a couple more wide receiver trade rumors, what the heck is going on with George Pickens, and then I'm going to let you guys know why I think the Steelers should start Justin Fields over Russell Wilson for at least one more week here as we approach Week 6 versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Then in our second segment, I have 5 overreactions that I want to break down today and why I think they're overreactions, why I think the Steelers in the long run are going to be just fine. And at the end of the day, I still believe that this Pittsburgh Steelers team will be playing in the postseason once again, once we get into January. So, Coop, we got a bunch of great stuff coming your way this week. Today, we're going live a little bit earlier, about 10 minutes earlier than we usually do because we have a watch party. Our Saints Monday Night Football watch party needs to get in our studio here eventually, so we're just going to try to make this a nice, crisp live show today. Then on Thursday, it's kind of our longer live show, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We might be doing some Madden. We're going to be we'll see. We might do 3+ segments on that one. That's kind of our longer live show is on Thursdays. And then this week, we're going to be going live 3 p.m. Eastern Time for Week 6 versus the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to be doing a super chat battle versus our friends at the Raiders Report. That one should be a very, very fun one to watch. We destroyed the Dallas Cowboys report last night. The Cowboys didn't want the smoke last night, man. We absolutely crushed them in our super chat battle.
I just want to make sure that you're okay, because I know you were taking it a little hard last night.
I was a gut punch last night, man. There was no question about it. That was a game that I really felt like, it was supposed to be a bounce back win. You take a tough loss on the road against Indianapolis. You get outcoached in that one, and then you get outcoached again against a team that had no Micah Parsons, no DeMarcus Lawrence, no Kalen Carson, no Deron Bland. You lost Nick Herbig. You lost DeMarvin Leal, right? It was just a very unfortunate game, man. And today we're going to be talking about it. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of my takeaways from that football game today, and why, at the end of the day, I think that the Steelers are going to be just fine in the long run. But before we get into our content today, guys, I wanted to let you guys know about our sponsor today at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. So listen, guys, if you want to go see more Steelers games live and in person at Acrisure Stadium, you want to see those terrible towels flying in the air, I personally love to go to those football games kind of in the colder months. It's just an awesome experience. So if you guys want to go see more Steelers games this year, we've actually had multiple people that watch this show get the best possible tickets at the best possible prices using Game Time Picks, the brand new feature from our friends at Game Time. And what it does is that it filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't waste time searching through thousands of tickets, and cuts out a bunch of time researching on your end, but you still end up getting some really great deals. All you have to do is select the Game Time Picks button at the top of an event that you want to go see on the Game Time app, and then it automatically filters through every single ticket in their database to find you the best deals, the best prices, and the best seats. It's absolutely fantastic, and you don't have to spend hours searching on a bunch of different ticketing apps because every ticket on the Game Time app has the lowest price guarantee. And then you also get transparent all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout. That's very nice because you don't get slapped with a $70+ fee right at the end. Plus, you get flash deals with Game Time, so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Again, terms do apply just for that first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So if we can get to $100 in donation revenue today, we're going to be, our bosses told us we had to make $100. Even though we made about $4,000 yesterday on our watch party, our bosses told us we have to make $100 today in order to play Madden on Thursday. So if you guys want to send in a donation today, absolutely great. If not, it's no big deal. All we care about here at Steelers Talk is that you love the Steelers, you want to talk Steelers football with us. But if we can make $100 today, we'll play a one lucky fan on Thursday in an online Madden or College Football 25 game right here live on Steelers Talk. So if you guys want to send in a donation, any super chat, if you've got a trade idea, if you have something to say about Justin Fields versus Russell Wilson, if you got something to say about George Pickens, Roman Wilson, anything that you want to talk about with the Steelers, if you want to get on screen, you want to get a shout out on the show, send in a super chat of any amount, and we'll make sure to get you on screen. Then $10, we're bringing back the candy tosses.
Let's
here.
go.
So we've got the Skittles gummies here.
We got long range today.
We got long range today. We're in the big studio today, so I have to, it's a little bit tough. And every time I miss, the way it works, if you haven't been here for the candy tosses, is that for every $10 we get, I'll try to shoot a Skittle gummy into Coop's mouth. Pause. And if he can't catch it, then we have to drink. All right. And I'll say this right now: if there's 5 misses, I have to drink a boot. So the pressure will be on. If we get to 5 misses today, I will drink a boot at the end of today's show to kind of rally you guys up. Okay, so get those super chats in, get those Venmos in, get those donations in. We greatly appreciate your guys' support. And also, if you guys want to send in your donations via Venmo, we'd also appreciate that as well, because we get to keep more of the proceeds. YouTube takes 30% of every single dollar you spend via Super Chat. We're not going to tell you not to Super Chat. We appreciate all of your guys' generosity. But if you guys want more of your donation dollars to go towards us here at Steelers Talk to improve our graphics, improve our equipment, improve our office space, all that great stuff, you guys can send your donations here on Venmo at Jack-Sperry, on Cashapp, # Captain Jack 19, or on PayPal at Captain Jack Rabbit. If you're watching us on mobile right now, take a screenshot of the screen so you always know where you guys can send your donations anywhere other than Super Chat. And if you're watching right now, if you don't know how to Super Chat, you guys can select the symbol over by the comment section. It looks like a dollar bill. You click that, and you put in a dollar amount, and then you send it our way. I really do appreciate your guys' support. Want to give a quick shout-out here to all of our Black Diamonds. Coop, let's go through these pretty quickly here. For our Black Diamonds, these are the bedrock of the Steelers Talk community. These are the people that have put in at least $500 on a singular Steelers Talk stream. You get your very own Super Chat sticker. You get your very own Watch Party jersey, and of course you get a shout out on every single show. So we got a bunch of people. We got over 50 Black Diamonds now here at Steelers Talk. F. Sperry in the chat. Still need to get to some of these stickers, but I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We did add a couple more last night, and we haven't updated the graphics. So if you are a new Black Diamond, we didn't get to. Oh, never mind. We did get them. Nico, Eric.
Oh, we did.
Eric Dexter's name is spelled wrong. It's Eric, not Eric's.
Yep, that's me.
Will Chestnut and Kurt Crater, all 4 of those guys ended up joining Black Diamond Club last night. So big shout out to those guys. I'll make sure to get your stickers as soon as I can. All right, guys, now before we get into our first segment today, I want to give some shout-outs, and I want to see who's in the chat. So let me know down there right now if you've liked the video today. Make sure you type me in the chat. We got 161 people watching here on Overreaction Monday. Only 36 likes to this point. Let's get that up to at least 50 likes. All right, we've got Pickens, 14 GOAT, Lucas Skew, Jared Smith, Brock Walker's here, Super Steelers Gaming is here, Lucas Skew, Ben Cadavilla, hope I'm saying that right. Pat Lepla's here. We got Andrew Longoria, Alita Reaper, Chaos Plays, Robert Sutton is here. We've got Mimic Tarzier, Gregory, Dylan Lewandowski. We got Mias. What's up, Mias? Or is it Mias? I think it's Mias, right? He says me, and also what's up, Koopy? Also Jackie. I guess
Jackie.
Last week it was just Jack, and now it's Jackie. So Mias, I appreciate you. Or Mias, I'm sorry, I keep getting the name wrong. It's Brian Hagan all over again, Coop. All right, we got $20 super chat rolling in from my man Dylan Lewandowski, and he says Russ knows the Raiders defense. Wouldn't it be good to give him a shot this week if we were going to start him at all this season? And, we'll get into the whole Russ Field situation. And, Coop, I understand why people would want to go to Russ. And, I was tossing and turning last night thinking about which guy I would rather go with. Because, honestly, I was a bit torn. I ended up settling on Justin Fields here. And I'll explain my reasons why here, Dylan. And I certainly understand everybody out there in Steelers Nation that would rather try out Russell Wilson because it's like we haven't seen him yet, right? 2 straight losses with Justin Fields. Why not give Russell Wilson a shot, especially because he was originally named this team's starting quarterback? So why not give him a shot, especially against a team like the Raiders, like you mentioned, Dylan, where he used to play them twice a year. He has experience against that defense. He knows their strengths and weaknesses. Why not go to Russell Wilson? I just think that Justin Fields right now, with the lack of dynamic playmaking weapons at wide receiver and running back right now, you need to give a little bit of that dynamic playmaking ability to the quarterback position. Not sure Russell Wilson provides that. I think Justin Fields does. And at the end of the day, I think that makes the difference. $5 super chat coming from a first-time super chatter, Prime Minister. Let's give him some Ric Flair drip. Woo! And he says, love your show. Keep it up, bro. Do you think something happened in practice with the OC and GP before the game? No. We're actually going to talk about GP here in just a second, Prime. But what I think happened was they saw on film that GP wasn't giving like 100% effort on film. And what they were saying was, oh, he's probably tired. He can't give 100% effort because he's tired. So let's give him less reps so he's less tired. Well, here's the thing. I just think that he's a low-effort player, period. And, he only played 18 snaps last night, and he was still showing low effort last night. So, George Pickens, we'll talk about some of the issues with him in our first segment today. But appreciate the $5 super chat there from Prime Minister. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button. Make sure you click that like button. We added over 1,000 subscribers on our watch party yesterday. It was an awesome show.
I hope you joined us for our 3-hour pregame show.
Yeah, we had a 3-hour pregame show because of the weather delay. $2 super chat coming in from Kenneth Leonard Sr. Says, good job, Coop. They pay you to drink. Go Steelers.
I think they pay me for a little more than that.
I mean, you guys don't see it behind the scenes, but Coop's on the computer. He's in charge of all the graphics. Plus, he's on screen. Plus, he's dealing with the super chats. Plus, he's dealing with the raffles, and he's dealing with a lot of stuff, man. So without Coop, this show really couldn't run. So everybody spam those Coops in the chat, man. Show some love to our beloved producer, man. He's absolutely awesome.
I do enjoy drinking as well. That's fun.
But hey, drinking is part of it too.
Fun.
Absolutely. But I think Kenneth Leonard Sr. is trying to say we're lucky that we get to come to work here and we get to have fun on this show for a living. Absolutely. So thank you, Kenneth. By the way, we're already getting relatively close, a quarter of the way to playing Madden on Thursday. There. So keep those super chats, keep those Venmos, keep those Cash Apps flowing. If we can get to $100 by the end of the show, we're going to be able to play Madden with somebody at the end. Or on Thursday. So we just got our first Venmo alert here, Coop.
Cool.
And it's from somebody we haven't seen in a little bit here.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Somebody we haven't seen in a little bit here. I'm happy to see this person back. We got Hot Rod 24 in the chat. I want to give a little shout out to Hot Rod right now because he is in hurricane territory here. And where he's living, Florida is expected to get hit with not 1 but 2 more hurricanes here within the next 10 days. So, Hot Rod, we're praying for you guys. We have your back. If there's anything you guys need down there in Florida, just let us know, Hot Rod. Hopefully, you guys and everybody that you guys know can stay safe down there while all that tragedy is happening with the hurricane. So hopefully you guys are all good. We got your back there, Hot Rod. Everyone spam those Hot Rods in the chat. He's one of the longtime viewers of this show. He is a real one. Speaking of longtime viewers of the show and real ones, Pittsburgh fan 412, Marty Nielsen coming in with a $20 super chat, says another shot at the mystery box. So Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
And put Dylan on there as well if you haven't.
Yes. So, what was it, Dylan?
Dylan Lewandowski.
Oh, I think Dylan got on there yesterday.
Okay.
Let me see, though. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, he did.
Cool.
All right, so I'll put Pittsburgh fan 412 right on the lunchbox here.
Then after this, we'll get into our first segment.
Perfect, man. So Pittsburgh fan 412, appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for your support for the channel. You are now on the mystery box. And by the way, anybody that puts in a $20 donation gets their name on the mystery box. Somebody is going to win a raffle for this box, this lunch pail, with all the names of Steelers Nation on there. And then also there is a special item in here. Could be a signed Steelers jersey, could be a mini helmet, could be something cool. All I can tell you, Coop doesn't even know what's in this month's box. There's just a cool Steelers item in here that somebody's going to be able to win at the end of the month. Okay, man, so let's get it going. Kurt Crater, if you're watching right now, Cassie says she needs your Black Diamond jersey info. All right, so color, number that you want, and then name on the back. So, Kirk, I know you're watching, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting our show yesterday for the hurricane relief stuff. So make sure you let Cassie know what you want for your jerseys. Okay, now that we've got our build-up out of the way here, let's get into our first segment here, Coop. I got a bunch of great stuff to get to today. We got to get out of here by around 6:30 p.m. Eastern, all right? So let's get into our first segment right now, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today we got a bunch of great Steelers content to get your way here on today's edition of Steelers News and Rumors. First up today, I'm going to let you guys know why after, you guys know if you watch the instant reaction video after that tough loss to the Cowboys, I was torn between going with Justin Fields still as the starting quarterback of this team or going to Russell Wilson. I thought it over. I watched the film. And right now, I'm still feeling like Justin Fields should be the starter. At the top of the show, I'll let you guys know why. Then we'll get into the latest Steelers wide receiver trade rumors. Davante Adams, plus there's a new name that surfaced over the weekend that's quite interesting to me. Then we'll finish up the show with what the heck is going on with George Pickens. Could he be traded? What's going on with him? I'm going to let you guys know the very latest right here on Steelers Talk, so make sure you guys stick around to the end of today's show. But get us started here down there in the comments section by letting me know what your panic level is right now after two straight losses against two teams I think most of us would consider worst football teams in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are two very winnable games that you just handed to your opponent. So let me know what you guys think. What's your panic level right now on a scale of 0, meaning not panicked whatsoever, to 10, meaning the season is freaking over? Okay, now let's get to this first topic here. And listen, man, when it comes to Russell Wilson, you guys know if you've been watching the show, I advocated for the Steelers to make him their starting quarterback this season over Justin Fields. And after two straight tough losses for Justin Fields and the Steelers against teams, like I said, that you probably should have beaten, I can see why many Steelers fans now want to see what they have in Russell Wilson, because it's just not working, especially early in games with Justin Fields under center. But personally, man, after watching the film, after really thinking it over last night, what I would do is I would stick with Justin Fields for at least one more week here in Week 6 versus the Las Vegas Raiders, plain and simply because I don't think he is the biggest issue with the Steelers' offense right now. And honestly, I think that he elevates this offense to a level that I'm not sure Russell Wilson would be able to if he got the start this week against the Raiders. So just this past week against Dallas here, 15 of 27. It's not fantastic, but certainly not atrocious. It got better as the game went on. He wasn't really pushing the ball down the field. That's one of my gripes that I had with him last night. Did have two touchdowns. One of them was a shovel pass, so not really a touchdown pass. He did have 6 carries for 27 yards, which I would probably expect a little bit more out of Justin Fields, but it was probably his worst game as the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers to this point in those first 5 weeks, if we're being honest. But I don't think Fields is the issue with the offense right now. Is he part of the issues? Perhaps. Does he miss some open receivers down the field because his downfield vision is spotty at times? Absolutely. But you take a look at his stats to this point in the season. Right now, he's actually doing pretty decent, all right? A 67.6 completion percentage is by far and away still the highest of his NFL career. The total yards per game is still above 220, which isn't elite or anything like that, but it's certainly not terrible. Then the total touchdown to turnover ratio right now is 8-2. That's certainly not atrocious either. In general, if the Steelers have a lead, Justin's done a decent job at completing passes, keeping the chains moving, picking up big third downs, and getting the ball in the end zone, particularly in the second half of ball games. And Fields' biggest advantage over Russell Wilson is that right now there's no playmakers on the Steelers offense, all right? You look at George Pickens, he only played 18 snaps last night. We'll talk about that later in today's show. All right, and then other than that, you got Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward. They got a lot of other players that just aren't dynamic, all right? So you need Justin Fields, potentially his playmaking ability and his dynamic ability to run with the football, make plays out of structure, to even be semi-functional on offense if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I worry that if you go to Russell Wilson, who's no longer a dynamic playmaker, that just takes away a big element of this Steelers offense that Justin Fields is currently providing. However, I do understand the case for Russ. I mean, I thought about it last night about potentially advocating for the Steelers to go to Russ, and I think it's very likely even that Mike Tomlin announces Russell Wilson, if he's healthy, he's going to start in this Week 6 matchup versus the Raiders. The whispers going around the team right now is that Russ is expected to be named the starter at some point this year, and I can certainly see the case for it, man. Pittsburgh obviously has lost the last 2 games of their season so far, so like you can't say Justin Fields is the hot hand because the team isn't winning with him under center. Also, you could potentially say that Russell Wilson is a better mental processor. He's just a better overall drop back passer, and maybe that enhanced ability from winning from within the pocket leads to more efficiency in the offense. I could certainly see that argument be made as well. And then also Russ is a super positive leader, and if you bring him in during this kind of cold spell where we've lost 2 straight games, it could really inject some confidence and some positivity into that Steelers locker room if you instill him as your starting quarterback over Justin Fields. And honestly, my prediction here is that on Tomlin Tuesday, head coach Mike Tomlin's going to go out there and he's going to say if Russell Wilson's healthy, he's going to start this week. And, you know, if he is healthy, I do expect him to be out there as QB1. Now, personally, I would rather go with Fields. I don't think that he's the issue, but the way that I think Tomlin and Arthur Smith are going to look at it is that they're not going to blame themselves. They're going to put the blame on the slow starts for Justin Fields. And I don't think that's necessarily fair on them, but, you know, the coaches don't want to put blame on themselves necessarily. They're going to put blame on the quarterback. And if you have another option that you've already named as your starting quarterback before the season began, you might want to give that guy a shot. So if I have to predict it, I think it's going to be Russell Wilson in Week 6, but I'd rather go with Justin Fields. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Who should start this week? Type RW for Russell Wilson or type JF for Justin Fields. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, and when that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Now, so if Justin Fields isn't the biggest issue with the Steelers offense, what is? And for me, it's the lack of dynamic playmakers on this offense. Like George Pickens is a dynamic playmaker, but he's literally the only one, and he's only playing 18 snaps a game, or at least he only played 18 snaps in this last matchup versus the Dallas Cowboys. Jaylen Warren is out injured. Cordero Patterson is out injured. You don't have a reliable number 2 receiving option, and Pat Freiermuth, as reliable as he is as a possession-type receiver, he's not a dynamic passing threat vertically down the field or after the catch. So listen, man, no matter what you want to say about the quarterback situation, whether you want Russell Wilson, whether you want Justin Fields, my take on this is that it doesn't matter who you got at quarterback unless you have 2 legitimate wide receiving weapons out there that can threaten the defense and that can force the defense to really respect the passing game and not just sell out for the run, which is one of the reasons why the Steelers' run game has stymied to begin this season. So the big question here is that could the Steelers potentially land that number 2 receiving option in Davante Adams in a trade this week? Now, I think it's possible, and we've talked about Davante quite a bit on the show over the last week, but Jerry Dulac was kind of a wet blanket yesterday coming out here with this tweet saying the Steelers have inquired with the Raiders about wide receiver Davante Adams per sources, but there are many questions to be resolved. Chief among them, does he want to come here, talking about come to Pittsburgh, and be willing to redo his massive contract? Adams said he prefers the Jets and Saints because of his former quarterbacks. And today, Jordan Schultz gives us this update here. The Raiders' preference as an organization is to get a Davante Adams trade done, quote-unquote, sooner rather than later per multiple sources, but the Raiders aren't going to do just any deal, and their preference has been not to take on any of the remaining money on Adams' contract. Expect things to ramp up this week. Now, what I'm really hoping didn't happen is that Davante Adams sat down with his family to watch Sunday Night Football last night, if he stayed up past the weather delay, watch that Steelers offense be as embarrassing as it was, especially in the first half, and say, do I really want to go there and then rework my contract to spend 2+ years of my career while I'm aging in Pittsburgh? Is that the offense I want to be in here? I mean, if I were him, I would at least be thinking maybe not, especially if I have an opportunity to go play with Derek Carr and the Saints or Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. I certainly think it's still possible that Adams becomes a Pittsburgh Steeler, but after last night's performance, it wouldn't shock me if he says, I'm not going to Pittsburgh. I'm not playing in that offense with Justin Fields. I just don't think that Adams is probably going to be a Steeler. I think it's most likely going to be a Jet, a Saint, a Bill. Is it still possible he becomes a Steeler? Absolutely. But right now, I'd probably guess more likely not. than 4. So another possibility that's on the table right now is Romeo Doubs, 24, big receiver from the Green Bay Packers who skipped practice last week towards the end of the week and was suspended by the Green Bay Packers. Some people think he could be on the move. I'll let you guys know whether I think that's a good idea here in just a second. But first, let's have word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And what I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Again, terms do apply just for that first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Shifting our attention now to Romeo Doubs out of Nevada here. Bill Huber, who is a reporter for the Green Bay Packers, said the Packers have suspended receiver Romeo Doubs for skipping practices Thursday and Friday. He did not play this last week's game against the Los Angeles Rams. But then Jeremy Fowler provided an update today. Apparently he met with the Green Bay Packers and things went, quote-unquote, went well. So take that potentially with a grain of salt here. Maybe Doubs and the Steelers have figured, and the Packers, I should say, have figured things out. But this is a very intriguing name to me, man, because he is a younger receiver, 24 years of age. He does bring the size that Arthur Smith typically likes in a receiver at 6'2", 204 pounds. The Packers really do rely. It's a Shanahan-style offense, man, so you really have to be able to run block as a wide receiver in that offense. So I think that he could fit in well here in Pittsburgh in terms of that role. And also, apparently the main gripe that he had with Green Bay is that he wasn't getting the ball enough here in Pittsburgh. That would not be an issue, or at least it shouldn't, with the lack of receiving talent currently here in Pittsburgh. To this point, he's had 12 catches for 169 yards. There on film, he has been open at times, and Malik Willis and Jordan Love have missed him, which is probably leading to some of the frustrations. And then last year, he had a pretty darn good season, man. 59 catches, just under 700 yards, and then 8 touchdowns. He's a good red zone threat because of his size. He also had no drops last year. So, like, this guy is a very, very reliable hands. He's a decent route runner. Maybe not a number 1 type receiver, but, man, a very reliable number 2, and the Steelers could certainly use that. That's why I'd take him in a heartbeat. Would I rather have Davante Adams? Hell yeah. Would I rather have DeAndre Hopkins? Definitely. But, you know, if I'm at this point, I just want a decent number 2 receiver here in Pittsburgh, plain and simply. And, you know, if you can get him for a decent price here, I mean, I think you could probably get him for something similar to like the Jahan Dotson deal that the Washington Commanders got from the Philadelphia Eagles, something like this, where you get Doubs and a 4th round pick in 2025, and you give up the 3rd rounder to the Green Bay Packers. I mean, if you're really desperate for a legit starting receiver, this might be a price that Omar Khan's willing to pay, especially if we get closer to the deadline and Doubs is still not getting the football in that Packers offense. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Would you accept this trade? If you were Steelers GM Omar Khan, type A for accept or type D for decline. Just let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. I would certainly think about it if I were the Steelers. All right, so now let's talk about George Pickens here, because we talk about Davante, we talk about DeAndre Hopkins, we talk about Romeo Doubs. I mean, George Pickens, I mean, to be frank, it was an embarrassing performance last night versus the Dallas Cowboys. 2 catches, not many yards, obviously no touchdowns, but the snap count is really what grabs your eye. When you look at the receiver snap counts. George Pickens only had the 3rd highest snaps of any receiver last night. Van Jefferson had 10 more snaps than him. Calvin Austin III got on the field more than George Pickens. I mean, this was obviously a point that the media wanted to bring up to Mike Tomlin in his press conference last night, asking if he got benched, if he was hurt, what was going on. This is what Mike Tomlin had to say about the situation. We wanted to kind of minimize his reps in an effort to get more productivity, trying to rep manage in totality of the big picture. He wasn't less of a focal point in terms of our intentions of what we wanted to do offensively, but we did want to cut his reps a little bit in an effort to get higher quality play. So what this tells me is that they saw some lower effort play on film from George Pickens in the games previously during the year, and they chalked it up to him being fatigued. All right, so what their plan was, it was to play him on less reps so that he could go 100% on all of his reps and he could be more productive on the reps that he was on the field. But it turns out George Pickens just doesn't give good effort no matter how many snaps he plays. I mean, last night there was a rep late in the football game where he shouldn't have been tired. I mean, at that point, he hasn't played that many snaps. There's an entire series where he wasn't even on the field. He's running a crossing route where the ball is designed to go to him, and he is jogging, and Justin Fields looks like he completely sails the football, but I think he just expects George Pickens to run faster when he's jogging. It's an absolute embarrassment watching George Pickens out there trying to run block. He doesn't give much effort. If he knows he's not going to get the football, he barely runs his route at all. I mean, this guy doesn't give much effort, and I think that the coaching staff was like, this guy might just be getting tired, but it just turns out this guy doesn't want to give 100% effort because I think he's more of a me guy than a we guy at this point. But even despite that, even with George Pickens being kind of a diva, being kind of a me guy, you got to play him. All right, plain and simply, he is your only fearable wide receiver right now. Nobody is scared of Van Jefferson. No one is scared of Calvin Austin III. No one's scared of Pat Freiermuth, at least not deep. All right, the only guy that defenses fear is George Pickens. So you got to get him on the field to draw attention, to help out your run game, to help out your passing game. You cannot be sitting this guy for large portions of the game, plain and simply. I don't care how little effort that he's giving. And that sucks to hear because you want the guys that are giving high effort to play, but at the same time, you got to play your best players, all right? And sitting him for most of the game was just an unexcusable thing to see from this Steelers coaching staff. And honestly, man, with the way that the Steelers are treating him right now, given the effort that GP played with last night with limited reps, I wouldn't be shocked if GP gets traded, all right? Diana Rossini of The Athletic reported last weekend that George Pickens could be traded to the Chiefs. He could be traded by the deadline. At this point, I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility. Now, if I'm the Steelers, I'm not doing that until at least next offseason. You just don't have enough receiving talent to let go of George Pickens at this point. But listen, man, it definitely seems like Pickens is more of a hostage than a volunteer at this point, and I know how much Mike Tomlin hates those types of players in his locker room. Also, if we want to talk about receiving problems here, what the hell is going on with Roman Wilson? I mean, why does this guy not have a helmet? I mean, right now, you are desperate for offensive playmakers on this Steelers offense, and yet 3 weeks, supposedly healthy, Roman Wilson doesn't get a helmet and he doesn't see the field. I mean, you take a look at his profile here. He drafted him in the 3rd round this year. Very high draft pick, day 2 draft pick, right? He injures his ankle the first padded practice in Latrobe. Sure, he maybe has to get on a moving bus a little bit here, I think is or moving train, whatever euphemism that Mike Tomlin used here, but 3 weeks? I mean, seriously, you're still sitting this guy? Healthy scratches for 3 straight games when you got guys like Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller, and Calvin Austin III getting on the field? I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous, and something's up here, man. Like, you just don't sit day 2 draft picks if you are desperate for offensive playmakers, and whatever it is, I don't think it's good, all right? I think I can only see 3 possibilities for this Roman Wilson situation. Number 1, Roman isn't healthy, and which is weird because he's fully practicing, and he's been a healthy scratch for 3 weeks. So if he's not healthy, why are they doing that with him? Number 2, he isn't any good. And I'm starting to think it's more number 2 here because, I mean, goodness gracious, if he was any good, I would suspect that this coaching staff would be desperate to get him on the field, yet they still sit him. Then number 3, Tomlin's just an idiot. And this one is also looking more and more likely to me because it's like Roman says he's good to go. Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin III really aren't giving you anything, so why not give Roman Wilson a shot, right? So it just completely boggles my mind, this entire situation. I think whatever the answer is, it's not going to be good for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I could seriously see this situation being all 3. And I don't know which one it is, and I'm just worried that it's going to end up being bad for Roman Wilson and his career moving forward. So that'll be at the end of today's News and Rumors segment. I know it's a little bit of a longer one today, guys. Lots to talk about after such a heartbreaking loss to the Dallas Cowboys last night. But if you made it to the end today, I want to show my appreciation for you guys. Type Real One in the comments for me if you haven't already, so I can show you some love down there in the comments section. That'll be it for today's show. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. This has been Steelers Talk, and until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. Whew, that was a doozy there, Mr. Coop.
That was a long one.
That might 20-plus minutes?
About 20.
Yeah, about 20. That was a long one right there. We had a lot to talk about. Had to talk about the quarterback situation, talking about wide receiver trade rumors, and then There's two very perplexing situations right now with two big-name receivers for the Steelers, Coop, and George Pickens and Roman Wilson. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it.
The Roman one just makes no sense to me. Like, you're getting no production outside of the big touchdown from Calvin. Van Jefferson's not doing anything. You're telling me Roman can't at least give you some run blocking or give you some sort of receiving threat outside of those two guys?
And it's like, I saw Roman Wilson play at the Senior Bowl this year. He dominated practices. He made incredible catches. He was getting open in the one-on-ones consistently.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
I mean, like, is he not fully healthy? And if he's not fully healthy, why is he practicing fully? And why are we listing him as a healthy scratch? Why not put him on the injury report if he's injured? I just don't get it. Something's off with the Roman Wilson situation, and honestly, something's off with the George Pickens situation. I don't know what to do about it, man. All I know is the Steelers need to add another receiving threat before the deadline, or this offense is in big trouble. Got a couple super chats rolling in here. This one coming in from Vibin with the Dog says, pain and misery. We need a wide receiver bad, and everyone knows it, Vibin. And he says, I want to see Russ, but I'm not sure much changes. Fields was okay, but 8 total touchdowns and 2 turnovers, actually, is a breath of fresh air after the 6 we got last year from Kenny. Yeah, Kenny did not throw a lot of touchdowns.
No, he did not.
Fields has done a better job than Kenny to this point. He has. I mean, plain and simply. I mean, Kenny Pickett was a straight-up dumpster fire. I think that Fields isn't the main issue. Is he perfect? No. Is he a star quarterback? Is he the elite quarterback that all these Field stands say that he is? No, he's not an elite quarterback. But, like, this offense, is it going to be worse or better with Russell Wilson? And honestly, man, right now, if I'd have to guess, I would think Russell Wilson, it would be worse with him.
Fully agree.
Now, could it be better with him? Sure. I could acknowledge that, but it's definitely not a for sure thing. Sam Pugh, $10 super chat, the original Black Diamond. The OG here says, we've seen 5 games, 8 if you count preseason of Justin Fields. If Russell Wilson is healthy, let us see him. We lost against the replacements last night again. Need a wide receiver 2 and maybe even wide receiver 1. GP is going to self-destruct day 1. So here's the thing, Sam. If the issue is the receivers and we need to get another receiver, how do we know Justin Fields isn't the answer too, right? Because I think that's a big question. If you get Davante Adams, if Davante Adams is on the Steelers last night, they win that football game.
100%.
That back shoulder catch that Van Jefferson drops, if that's thrown to Davante Adams or George Pickens, it's a catch. Like, I don't know what to say, man. Like, Justin, I'm not saying he's an elite quarterback or anything, but, give him a little bit of help. And I think that even you, Sam, are acknowledging here that there's not enough help at receiver. And, like, what is Russell Wilson supposed to do if guys won't get open? At least Justin can get out and run. At least Justin can get outside of structure and make something happen off of structure. I'm not sure if Russell Wilson can do that much anymore.
We don't know, especially if this calf injury is serious. We just don't know, man.
But, like, the thing with Russ, Coop, the case for Russ is that the offense on the script, on schedule, would be better with Russ than it would be with Fields. And that's a fair take.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't think anybody is an idiot for thinking Russell Wilson should be the starter next week. Because it is a close call, man. I just don't I'm just not in the business of calling other Steelers fans idiots for having reasonable takes like that. If you guys want to send in a donation, here's all the various items you guys can get in our donation menu today. If you guys want to send in a Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal, you can find me here. We do have another segment to get to here. We have to be off our live here in the next 30 minutes, so we have to get to our next segment here. Really do appreciate your guys' support. If you guys still have more questions that you want to get on the show, send in those super chats, send in those Venmos, send in those Cash Apps. Really do appreciate your guys' support. So right now, let's get into 5 overreactions that I've seen on Steelers Twitter that I believe are overreactions and why I think that they're overreactions. So that's a lot of overreactions there in like 10 seconds.
Some overreactions.
But let's get into it right now. Let's get into it here. Top 5 overreactions for Week 5 after that loss to the Cowboys. Today on Steelers Talk, I'm going to be going over 5 overreactions that I have seen quite a bit on Steelers Twitter that I believe to be overreactions and why those things are overreactions. Say overreactions more, Jack. Well, I will be throughout this show. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button. Make sure you guys get into the comments section before we get into today's content. Is it time to panic in Pittsburgh? Simply give me a yes or a no. For me personally, I do not think it's time to panic in Pittsburgh, and we'll talk about later why I'm optimistic about this team's future. Okay, now let's get to the first overreaction here, which is that the Steelers' defense isn't any good this season. Now, I've seen people like Chris Sims. I've seen other people say the Steelers' defense has been bad these last 2 weeks. And listen, man, they've had their moments of not playing good football, for sure. But the defense isn't the issue here in Pittsburgh. Okay, just plain and simply, when you look at the numbers, even in these last 2 games, right, you turn the ball over 3 times against the Cowboys, 4 times if you want to count the block field goal. This offense or this defense has actually done a pretty darn good job at limiting points, limiting yards, getting to the quarterback. I still think, especially when you get Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig back healthy, this defense is going to be among, if not the best, defense in the National Football League. But plain and simply, man, if we're going to be honest, the Steelers defense was gassed at the end of the game against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, why was that? Number one, they had a bunch of injuries on the defensive line, so defensive linemen had to play a lot of snaps towards the end of the game. And whenever you're not load managing those guys, and you're not rotating guys in, you're going to get gassed by the end of a football game. And then number 2, Pittsburgh had a hard time getting off the field. There's lots of long, prolonged drives for the Dallas Cowboys. They got into the red zone a number of times. And yes, the Steelers made big plays to take the football away, but they were still on the field for long portions of time, and they were absolutely tired by the end of the game, where the Cowboys were able to conduct a game-winning drive. And you look at the Cowboys, man, on third down, just couldn't get them off the field, man. 9 of 15, they had a really good plan on third down. They stayed in really manageable situations, which put the Steelers defense in tough spots. Dak Prescott made good decisions, and they executed their game plan at a really high clip. 60% on third down is a really good number for any NFL offense. And, is that a trend that you can expect from the Steelers moving forward? Not necessarily, in my opinion. They've only allowed a 38.7 opponent third down percentage. And by the way, that includes the 60% in that Dallas Cowboys games, which right now ranks 19th. So in the other games, in the first 4 games, they were more top 15, an above average third down defense. So I'm not really expecting this third down defense to be a huge issue for the Steelers, especially because many of those third downs they gave up were in the second half when they were already tired and dealing with injuries. I don't think that this is going to be a prolonging issue for the Steelers defense. You take a look at the team stats right now, they're still ranking in the top 10 of almost every single major category. The only one that they're not is third down percentage, because they didn't play well on third down in this particular game. But overall, man, you look at the numbers, they're forcing turnovers, they're making big plays when they need to make big plays, they're getting after the quarterback, and they're not allowing a whole lot of points. Right now, the top 3 in points per game allowed. So right now, I'm not worried whatsoever about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So fill in the blank for me down there in the comment section. The Steelers have a top blank defense in the National Football League right now. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, let me know right now and fill in the blank. Second overreaction is that Justin Fields is a terrible quarterback and should, without question, all right, without even a debate, be benched for Russell Wilson for the rest of the season. Now, it might be the case that Russell Wilson ends up playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, all right? Mike Tomlin named him his starting quarterback to start the season before he had that calf injury. You're coming off of 2 straight losses with Justin Fields. I certainly understand the arguments to go to Russell Wilson to be your QB1 for Week 6. And honestly, if I have to make a prediction, I think Tomlin does go with Russell Wilson. However, Fields isn't the main problem with the Steelers offense right now. Okay, and if you want to say Russell Wilson would be a better option, perfectly fair. But I don't think it's fair to say Justin Fields is the main reason why the Steelers are losing football games right now. You look at his numbers right now, pretty decent. Highest completion percentage of his career by far, I might add. Over 220 yards per game, both passing and rushing. That's pretty decent according to NFL standards. And then 8 touchdowns to just 2 turnovers through the first 5 weeks. That's pretty darn good, only turning the ball over 2 times. I think Fields has done a pretty good job at managing the football game in his time as the Steelers starting quarterback. And then some advanced stats here that show that he's actually being a pretty decent starting quarterback in the National Football League this year. He's almost cracking the top 10 in passer rating. He's top 15. He's above average in big-time throw percentage per Pro Football Focus. He's top 10 in terms of taking care of the football, in terms of turnover-worthy plays. And right now he's 11th in drop percentage, so his receivers aren't helping him out. They're dropping passes, all this different stuff. So right now when I look at the advanced stats mixed with what he's done on the film, I just don't see Justin Fields as the main issue with the Steelers offense. Is he an elite quarterback? No, he's not, all right? But is he the main issue? He's definitely not that either. So I think it's fair. I think we need to be fair to Justin Fields here, even if you want Russell Wilson to start next week. So coming up here on Steelers Talk, more Week 5 overreactions. I got 3 more to discuss with you guys on today's show. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. Game Time Picks is a brand new feature from Game Time, which filters out the fluff, show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't waste time searching through thousands of tickets. What I love about using the Game Time app is that you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, whether it be sports, whether it be comedy, whether it be music, it doesn't matter. Lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. Also, they have transparent all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and you don't get slapped with like a $70 fee right at the end. And then also flash deals, so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. The third overreaction is that you got to keep the third overreaction here, this is actually my take here, Coop. The third overreaction is that you need to trade George Pickens now because you can't win with him. All right, I think that is a little bit of an overreaction, and trust me, guys, I get the frustrations with George Pickens at wide receiver. I really do. I mean, I was watching the film on this game, man. He only had 18 snaps, and he was probably given like 50 to 75% effort on a lot of them. All right, the effort issues are real with George Pickens, and the fact, the temper tantrums are a real thing as well. Not talking to the media and being an immature ass at times, if we're going to be frank. Those things are real with George Pickens. However, you definitely need him for this season. Right now, he is the only fearable wide receiver threat that the Steelers have, and they need to add another one to be competitive. All right, so if you get another receiver and you trade George Pickens, you're right back to the same dilemma that you're at now, where defenses can just double team your number one receiver, and it's going to stymie the passing attack, not to mention affect the rushing attack, because right now, with just one good receiver, they can focus in on stopping Najee Harris and the Steelers' rushing attack, which obviously affects the offense as a whole. Now, what I say here, and this is the correct graphic here, keep George Pickens for the rest of this season. See how he does. See if he matures a little bit. And if the attitude persists and it keeps going, do what you did with Deontay Johnson this past offseason and let him go. This time, get a better deal for him than you got for Deontay Johnson. All right, try to get somebody to give you like a mid-round pick or something, because, if he continues to have attitude issues, there's going to be teams that are worried about that. Not sure you're going to get a high draft pick for George Pickens. But if you feel like you have to trade him in the offseason, do it then. Don't do it now when you're trying to win football games. And Mike Tomlin and this organization have said they're trying to win a championship this year. George Pickens needs to be a big part of that if they're going to make that kind of a run. So subscribe today to Steelers Talk if you haven't already for daily Steelers videos, 100% free right here on YouTube. We've got the largest Steelers watch parties on the platform as well. It's all 100% free. And if the Steelers make a trade for a receiver, and I definitely think they're going to before the trade deadline here, make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to have breaking news coverage for you guys right here on Steelers Talk. The fourth overreaction is that it's time to fire Mike Tomlin. Now listen, man, I really do understand the gripes when it comes to Mike Tomlin, especially this season, all right? There's some things that Mike Tomlin has done this year that really make me scratch my head. Okay, and I definitely understand some of those critiques that people bring up when it comes to his record, when it comes to everything that he has done as the head coach of this team, particularly over about the last 5 to 10 years. And, you take a look at the list of gripes here. Multiple whiffs at offensive coordinator. Arthur Smith hasn't had a great start. Now, you can chalk that up to not enough playmakers, not the best quarterback in the world. You can say whatever you want, but Matt Canada was a whiff. I mean, he's had multiple chances to pick an offensive coordinator here, and since really Todd Haley, there hasn't been anybody worth their salt here as the Steelers offensive coordinator, and that falls on the guy making the decision of who to hire, and that's Mike Tomlin. All right, so plain simply, he deserves the blame for that. Then he hasn't developed a quarterback. Now you might be saying, Jack, he's a defensive head coach. He's not going to develop the quarterback. Sure, but he's picking the guy that's developing the quarterback, and he is in the room choosing who his quarterback is going to be. He picked Russell Wilson. He picked Justin Fields. If they both fail, part of that is on Mike Tomlin. He picked Kenny Pickett. That guy failed. That's a little bit on Mike Tomlin, all right? Also, there's way too many trap games, particularly at home, all right? Coming off of wins against inferior opponents, this guy loses too many games that he should win, particularly at home against inferior opponents, and that drives people up a wall. I completely understand that. And then no recent playoff success. Now, obviously, you need to have a top-flight quarterback usually to have success in the playoffs. They haven't had that since prime Big Ben, which we haven't had since, 2017, 2018? So, listen, man, I don't think necessarily all that's on Mike. I think that he's done a really good job keeping this team afloat despite some really bad offensive and quarterback issues. But like we discussed, he's part of the issue with that too. So listen, man, I think Mike, like usual, is going to figure it out. I think eventually the offense is going to get going. I think they're going to pick up a veteran wide receiver that fixes the offensive issues. It's going to get the run game going, especially when Jaylen Warren gets back to hopefully fully healthy and can become a playmaker for this team. And then the defense is going to be just as good as they're playing right now. And down the stretch, this is going to be a very hot football team, and they're going to make the playoffs. And then the way that I would be okay if the Steelers fired Mike Tomlin is that if they lose a bunch of games, they don't make the playoffs, and they're in the position to draft a quarterback next year. And it seems like there's going to be more quarterbacks than we originally thought that are going to be first-round talents in next year's NFL draft. So listen, man, if you're in the position to draft one, I'd say fire Tomlin, bring in a new, bright offensive mind to develop that young quarterback, and start over with a new QB, and wish Mike Tomlin the best of luck elsewhere. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already here before I reveal this final overreaction to help out the channel today. If you're feeling generous, liking the video is really the easiest way to help out our show. It tells the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying our channel. So if you want to help out the channel today, make sure you click that thumbs up icon. The final overreaction here is that the season is over. The Steelers suck. They're not going to be a playoff team. They're mediocre. And, they should just throw in the towel and embrace a rebuild with a new head coach. All right. And this goes into the Tomlin thing. This goes into the defense sucking kind of thing. But listen, man, this season is far from over. I have been in this chair for a couple years now, and multiple times over the last 2 seasons, the Steelers season has been over 1,000,000 times. And every time Mike Tomlin and the Steelers figure something out to put them in a position not only to get above 500, but to make the playoffs and give them a shot to be competitive at the end of seasons. And listen, man, you take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Steelers. You're telling me the Steelers couldn't potentially go 3-0 against these 3 football teams, all sitting at 2-3. The Raiders are a dumpster fire right now. The Jets are really in shambles right now with Aaron Rodgers and that offense. Now Aaron Rodgers is injured, by the way. Then the Giants with Daniel Jones coming to town. I mean, come on now. The Steelers can absolutely win all 3 of these games. On paper, they probably should win all 3 of these games. And if they do so, they'll be sitting at 6-2 at the bye. And we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers not only as a major contender in the AFC North, but also a contender in the AFC writ large. Okay, so the defense, I think, is going to be just fine. If you get the right quarterback in there and you pick up another wide receiver, I think that's going to open up a lot of things. Get Jaylen Warren healthy. It's definitely not the time to panic, in my opinion, guys. It's still very early. Yes, these 2 losses definitely hurt. They're heartbreaking. You don't want to see it happen. The Steelers should be 5-0 right now, but they're not. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to be just fine. They're going to figure it out like they always do. So also consider this, guys. If Pittsburgh lands a number 2 receiver here by the deadline, and I think they will, whether that's Davante Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, there's going to be receivers available. I think Omar Khan ends up landing one of them. I think that opens up the run game. That's going to open up the passing game. I hope that opens up George Pickens more so we don't see as much of the immaturity as we have been seeing on film here as of late. And I think that if you get that second wide receiver, that could be the catalyst to bring this Steelers team from a team that's just okay to a team that's very good and competing potentially for a playoff win this season. So predict it for me down there in the comment section. What will be the Steelers' final record this season? I'm expecting to see a lot of 9-8s in the comments, but personally, man, I still think they can get to 10, 11, maybe even 12 wins if they put it all together here. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What's going to be the final Steelers record? Appreciate your guys' support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now, because if you want level-headed Steelers analysis here on YouTube, there's a reason why we have the largest Steelers news talk following here on YouTube. So I really appreciate your guys' support. Help us get to 64,000 subscribers right here on Steelers Talk by joining our family today. So before we go here, Coop, just a little bit of a Monday Night Football preview. We got 15 minutes before we have to go hard pause.
Let's also, we owe a couple candy tosses here as well.
Oh, yeah, we do. How many candy tosses do we owe?
Dos.
We owe 2?
Dos.
Okay. So how far away are we from So we're about a $50 super chat away? No,
Yep.
no. So we got a $20 from Pittsburgh Steelers fan from Venmo. So we're so 66. So we're $35 away from 100 today. So if we can get to 100, that'd be good. We'll do another candy toss if we get to 100 today. If you guys want to get on the show here, we got 15 minutes before we have to go hard stop. If you guys want to put some questions in here, super chat, have some fun here at the end of today's show, go ahead and get those super chats in. Okay, Coop, let's get this going here. 2 candy tosses.
Let's do it.
I have to get to 5 misses for a boot today, so it's looking
I think we're getting there.
It's looking like no boot, but if people start putting in these 10s, we can maybe get to a boot today. All right, here we go. Ready?
Oh, boy.
It's going to be tough. Okay, I think this is going to be better. I think this is the way to go because this is
that's
the way
the
we
way to
did
go.
it last night.
That's the way to go.
Ready?
Yep.
Oh, off the rim. Boop. Did that hit you in the on the teeth?
Nope, bottom lip.
On the bottom lip, he says. All right. What are you
you're a
what
baseball
what
fan.
what are you drinking today?
I got Patron today.
I've got this mango margarita mix, the non-alcoholic stuff that the office got.
If you're a baseball fan, nothing between the Tigers and Guardians. I almost called them the Indians.
Is Scooble still throwing the
He is
perfect?
not.
Yeah, I
He
think
gave it up.
I told you he wasn't. All right, here we go.
Cheers.
Woo! Okay, we got another candy toss here.
Let's do it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot we're not doing it underhand. All right.
Oh, no. All right.
Off the nose. It almost went up his nose.
That would have been something.
All right, another shot. If you guys want us to keep doing candy shots, keep going those.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys.
What are you thinking about this game tonight?
So I'm actually going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to pick the Saints to win this game.
No
man.
way.
Obviously, the Chiefs are a tough team. Got a great defense. They're at home. They're really tough to beat at home. But the Saints, they destroyed the Cowboys earlier this season.
They did.
They have an excellent offense. I know that they're missing their center right now, but they're making their case for Davante Adams tonight.
That'd be interesting.
So I think that they're going to come out ready to play. Obviously, if they lose, they go to 2-3, which they really don't want to do. So they feel very desperate. Kansas City is on their high horse. I think that, Derek Carr and the Saints get it done tonight, 27-23. Also, Saints have one of the more underrated defenses in the league, in my opinion. So I think Derek's going to have a good night tonight. I think the defense will do a decent job against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, who don't have Rashee Rice tonight. I think that impact is going to be big, Coop.
That will be big.
Rashee Rice was their biggest part of the offense. Isaiah Pacheco is the other big part of their offense that's now gone. Obviously, you still have Mahomes, but now it's similar kind of to last year where they have a big receiver problem. Travis Kelce is a shell of his former self. Now that Rice is off the field, I think that the Saints are going to be able to hone in on him a little bit. I'm going to go with the Saints to shock the world tonight and come out 27-23. They win.
I didn't really think this through at first when I put my prediction in. This is my original prediction, which is 30-20 Chiefs, but I think I'm going to change that because of everything you just outlined. I think I'm going to go...
Sperry knows ball.
Sperry knows ball.
Sperry knows ball.
I think I'm going to go 24-20 Saints.
What's up?
24-20 Saints.
So you're going to go Saints now?
I'm going to go Saints. That was my original prediction. I'm changing it.
Missing Rashee Rice is I think it's just going to completely change the dynamic of that Chiefs team. I think that the big takeaway coming out of this game tonight, Coop, is going to be the Chiefs need to trade for a receiver. I wouldn't be surprised if Amari Cooper is a Chief very soon.
That's actually a pretty good
It's either
call.
that or Deontay Johnson.
My boy Xavier Worthy's not quite a number one yet.
My man Kurt Crater coming in with a $10 super chat, another candy toss here. He says, Coop toss to Jack. Okay.
All right.
Switching it up.
I'll have to stand up for this one.
Oh, shoot.
You guys can't see me.
All right, here we go.
Hold on. Here, we'll do it this way. We'll go here. Okay. All right, I'm going to toss.
All right.
We're going to go here. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, boy. You want to lob?
Yeah, put it. Nope.
Too fast?
Too fast. Also, too far to the left.
Too left?
Too far to the left. It was right here. Oh!
Let's go!
Let's go!
Woo!
Very good. Maybe I need to be named Jack the Mouth
Are you the
Sperry.
mouth?
Maybe I'm the mouth now because you've missed a couple in a row here.
Do you hear that? Sperry's new nickname is the Mouth.
Very good. Okay, so right now we got about 9 minutes before the hard stop. I'll say this: we need to get another $10 super chat in the next 60 seconds.
Yep.
Or we're gonna be shutting it down.
There's a $5.
There's a $5. Brian comes in with a 5. Says if Tomlin was fired, who should be the next head coach? Ben Johnson, Brian Flores, Slowick, and have you guys seen the QB VR headsets the Commanders have? So, yeah, the Commanders with Jaden Daniels have been doing the VR headset stuff. And honestly, that's the future of QB preparation, in my
100%.
opinion. I know that the Dolphins have been doing that with Tua as well, and they've been doing stuff with, like, the GoPro cameras and all that stuff.
I think
it's the future. Honestly, the Steelers might be the last team to implement it just because
Exactly.
they're always the last to do that kind of shit. But
I think out of those 3 coaches, though, the Steelers would go with Brian Flores out of those 3.
see, the thing is, though, like I said in the segment, if you get rid of Tomlin, for me, it's because you're bringing in a young quarterback and you want to develop him, or you're keeping Fields and you want to develop him.
I agree, but
you need an offensive head coach.
But just think about the head coaches of this team in the franchise.
I get it; they're defensive guys.
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin.
Plus, Brian Flores is familiar with the team.
Yep.
Obviously, like if there's and that's the other thing about replacing Tomlin is that you need to be a big personality
Absolutely.
that can command the locker room. Because if you're in the Steelers locker room and you're T.J. Watt and you're Cam Hayward and you're used to the alpha personality of Mike Tomlin, and then you have like Bobby Slowick walk in there.
That would be a tough locker room. For
Bobby
him to
Slowick might be a great offensive mind. I don't know if he's a leader of men.
Is it Bill Belichick?
Bill would be.
The only problem is he's not a long-term guy.
He's not. Yeah, I'd say that. But, and I think he'd bring Josh McDaniels as the OC. And as an offensive coordinator,
that's fine.
strictly, Josh McDaniels, I like him as an OC.
As a head coach, he's a joke.
As a head coach, he's not a leader. As an offensive play caller,
He's all right.
he has been, I mean, especially with Belichick, over
Yes.
top of him, overseeing him. Josh McDaniels is perfectly fine. One of the best offensive coordinators ever, honestly, in the league.
man.
Now, obviously, does it help that you have Tom Brady? Absolutely it does.
Of course.
But he made Mac Jones into a Pro Bowler his rookie season in that offense. Mac Jones with no offensive weapons, pretty much. Like, I got to say, man,
I'd be intrigued.
Belichick's interesting. I don't think it'll ever happen. And like I said, you want probably an offensive guy to build up a new quarterback. So I think that the list is going to be very small because there's very few guys that are charismatic and are offensive geniuses that way.
Coming soon on Steelers Talk, Bill Belichick to the Steelers.
So we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I would say there is a 95% chance Mike Tomlin does not get fired or
Agreed.
leaves the Steelers this year. So it's probably a moot point. All right, guys. Appreciate your guys' support. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you guys
guys.
on Thursday. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.
Peace out.